Ian, we had a fun auction come up,
We sure did. Boy, howdy.
Japanese auction.
There was an auction for the original prototype, a prototype Wii controller. Don't know if it's original, but it was one of them. And they're pretty neat. So it's smaller than the original Wii remote, but other than that, it actually looks fairly similar. It's gray.
Buttons are laid out somewhat similarly.
Buttons are laid out somewhat similarly. They look like they were done in the same mold as the Game Boy Advance. In fact, I think it says so in the article here that we referenced from Kotaku. It was written by Ethan Gatch. And it was sold for 74,000 yen, so approximately $660.
It's not bad.
And it was the prototype Wiimote and nunchuck that was used in early development of Wii games. So when the system was in development, when it was still called the Revolution. It's interesting. These actually plugged, the Wii remote on this actually plugged directly into a GameCube. And the nunchuck would plug into the bottom of the Wii remote via like an Ethernet cable hookup. It still used the sensor bar and all that. So technology-wise, it was, roughly the same. It was pretty much the same as what you would have,
So the sensor bar's input was the GameCube card slot looking attachment.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and of course a GameCube attachment at the end of the Wiimote. So, all right, it's an interesting piece of history. Who knows how many of these they made? If it was part of a dev kit, they probably made a decent amount of these.
Yeah, you'd think that there's probably a few more of these out there for sure.
You would think.
It says the editor Chris Kohler originally played Ubisoft's Red Steel with one of these.
There's also did you mention the nunchuck? There's also a nunchuck.
Yeah, I mentioned the nunchuck and how it plugged in via Ethernet.
And that was closer to what the final design was.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a cute little, little joypad on there. Excuse me, a thumbstick. All right. So this was confirmed by WayForward game development director James Montagna, who confirmed it's legitimate. So it's not something that someone just mocked up and put on a Japanese auction site.
It's good.
I wonder if this would have went for more money if it was on eBay in the U.S. or if people didn't know about it. I mean, I don't know. This is sort of weird territory when it comes to these sort of prototype things. Maybe it would have went for more money. You have to have a very specific buyer that's going to spend $1,000 on this. I don't know.
Yeah, it is kind of strange. It's some of this stuff is, I don't know, interest for this sort of thing. It seems to peak and valley and come and go with weird uncertainty. This is one of those things that goes for $770 now, and you might see it, say, at a place like Portland Retro Gaming Expo in the future. And I mean, honestly, then it could just depend on the auction.
Sure.
It might go for the same, or you get into one of those hot, crazy late night bidding wars, and it's someone's screaming 3,000 for it.
Steve Lynn might go off and just throw something out there on it. Super collector Steve Lynn. I think it's. I'm trying to think. I don't have a huge amount of interest in this, so would I spend $600 in this? I'm not sure I would. Just to have something that's not one of a kind. It could be one of 20. It could be one of 15. Who knows? And more will come out, and so some early developers might still have them laying around somewhere.
It'd be interesting to know what the person who got this decides to do with it. Obviously, it's none of our business.
Throw it in a drawer.
It's nice that it's nice that when these things do come up, though, it's nice to know that someone with an interest, I guess, has one. I would like to hope that when we start to see these things come up and they're made more known to the general public, it's more likely, I think, that one will end up in the hands of someone who will at least preserve it, put it somewhere, and make sure that it's taken care of and noted.
And not just locked away somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if I had it, I'd be like, oh, cool, here's my acrylic shelf, and I have it displayed. I can tell you about it for like 35 seconds, and then that's like a lot of this stuff, though.
Buy it and donate it to the Strong Museum or something like that.
Or that. National Video Game Museum, whatever. Okay.